All right, guys. Sorry about that. The little technical hiccup there. Looks like everything was still good to go, so we're going to keep going on here, obviously. So apologies if something like that happens again and I have to kind of cut a segment short real quick and kick back into it. But nevertheless, before we get into our first topic here, I did also want to add that I did recently on stream. I went up and I actually did a quick collection kind of preview. So I actually have this little segment here of my collection as it kind of stands right now. Like I said, it's kind of a more of a collection preview. It's more of an informal video I just shot on my phone real quick just to kind of show off the current status of everything. But that clip is also up on the channel now. So you can go take a look at this stuff and then let me know what you think about that. That is there as well. So there it is. And that's all I got here kind of for any off the top. So let's get into the first topic here. And our first topic is going to be the Spider-Man No Way Home. It's a movie that's been I don't know. There's we found out that Alfred Molina's coming back from Spider-Man 2. He confirmed that he's playing the exact same character. We first found out though that Jamie Foxx is coming in to reprise his role as Electro from well, actually, we actually don't know, technically speaking, if this is actually going to be the Jamie Foxx Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, because he even said that he's playing Electro, but he kind of indicated it's gonna be a different version of Electro, but then they made him delete those tweets, so he obviously hasn't really been able to elaborate on it, but nevertheless, Jamie Foxx is back as Electro, and then, we imagined that Doctor Strange was gonna be in it, but it kinda seems that he is gonna be in it because we know it was gonna tie into Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So, obviously, with the return of Jamie Foxx and Alfred Molina, it seemed like some multiverse or Spider-Verse shenanigans were gonna be happening in this movie, but we've had some leaks recently here that definitely seem to indicate a couple of different things. And, the first kind of major one is that, like I said, there is one these came in the form of 2 different things. Initially, it was just Lego sets, so there were some pictures of some Lego sets that dropped, and then there were after that, some, like, not 6-0, but 1/12 scale, like, 6-inch figures like the Marvel Legends, and they show off the new suits. So, a little bit better than the Lego sets do by any means. So, we have these 2 new suits here, and in the Lego set, I was telling John when these things first dropped that it actually seemed like to me that this suit on the right looked like a combination of the Far From Home, upgraded black and red suit, and then some elements from the Iron Spider suit. And I said, like to him, like it would actually be cool if they in the movie they show Peter being smart like he's supposed to be, like, in, Civil War, he explains to Tony that he made the webbing himself, we know that from comic lore, Peter Parker's a very smart guy, but I think that's one area they have kinda failed Peter Parker in the MCU, is really just showing off, like, how good Peter Parker is on his own. They've, like, kind of made him they made him out to be Iron Man Jr., and he's getting all this assistance from Tony Stark. Like, I wish they would've leaned a little bit more into, Peter and, like, showcased how great Peter was. So if they have a scene where he is upgrading his upgraded suits and taking elements from his Iron Spider suit and merging it onto his, Far From Home suit, the upgraded suit, I think that would be pretty cool. But that's what this suit even kinda just looks like to me, like, it kinda looks like he has the golden literally just took the golden spider logo from the Iron Spider suit and put it on this suit. And then in the Lego set picture, you actually can see on his wrist gauntlet, he has the Iron Spider, like, gauntlet on there. Now granted, these are toys, so they could be entirely these may not be in the movie. You never really know. Like, a lot of times, the toys don't really mean anything, and we'll actually have some more evidence of that here in just a second as well with some of these toy leaks themselves. But the other interesting thing is this just purely black and gold suit with the red, on the gloves here. This kinda looks like a Miles Morales inspired suit. So who really knows what this could mean? Like I said, this is a multiversal kind of story, it seems, no matter how you look at it. So maybe Miles is actually in the movie? Or maybe it's I don't know, just a different Peter in a different suit? Like, I really don't know. Maybe this is Tobey Maguire in a new suit, you know? Who really knows? But I think, John, you would agree, this definitely looks more like if this was gonna be anybody other than Peter, like Tom Holland Peter, I would say this would have to be Miles Morales based on the design of the suit. Like, that would be my
Yeah,
100% guess.
you look at the suits that Tom Holland's Peter Parker has worn in the MCU films so far, and the first suit in Civil War was fairly comic accurate. It still had some little tweaks here and there. You got a little further away from it. All of them have eh, they feel like the classic suit, but they definitely have their own MCU spin on them. And this would fall in line with that. If this feels like the classic Miles Morales suit, but maybe with its own MCU spin on it. So yeah, I think it's if this figure does come from the film and it's not just an upgraded stealth suit or something like that, then yeah, I would not be shocked at all to know that this was Miles.
Mhm. My only other
I'd be
guess
a
would
little
be, like, Tobey Maguire. Like I don't know
yeah.
why. It just kinda has the look of, like, none of Tom Holland's suits have had, I don't know what it is. There's something about the way the chest looks reminds me of I'd have to look at his suit, though. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man suit. I'm pulling this up. I don't know why I
His
didn't.
Spider-Man suit it had the raised webbing on it. It was
Mhm.
um
It has a much bigger spider logo on it than I remember it having. So
okay.
that does this does look more like the it's hard to tell really how big and what kind of design that little spider is, but it kinda looks like the OG suit from Civil War that you were talking about.
Yeah, I'll also just say, like, I wouldn't be surprised if this suit doesn't show up at all in the film. Like, I don't know. I'm not that in tuned with the way that because I mean, obviously, as we talk about on the show, you and I both collect mainly like Hot Toys and 6 scale figures. Now, I kind of got out of the 6-inch figure game a while ago, so I don't know how often they just do like a their own iteration. They're the only but I guess what I'm trying to get around to saying is if you think back in the day to like when Batman films came out in the 90s,
Oh,
my
yeah.
God, if people were having internet shows where they're speculating on the toys that would be released, they would have been wrong, a dozen times out of 13 because they released so many variants back in the day for things that had nothing to do with the movie. They were released within the
0.
movie toy line, but they had
Mhm.
absolutely nothing. They were just an excuse to put Batman. It was like Batman deep dive suit where he's got like flipper fins on and
Mhm.
like floaties on his arms for some reason,
And it
and
was blue.
like
Like,
yeah, it was blue, and he never showed up in the movie in anything even remotely. There
yeah,
wasn't even a water
he
scene in the
never even goes
movie.
in the water.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So like, I mean, maybe this is also just their whatever their attempt to just sell more Spider-Man toys and put him in a different
Mhm.
suit. So
I will s this is what made me think of his suit, though, when I saw that other suit, was this part, how it comes down to, like, more of a point.
the
It's a
point,
little bit
yeah.
more, yeah, and then this one kind of has that going for it, whereas you see Tom Holland's doesn't do that at all. This one had the little
Hmm.
point on it. I don't know why I knew that from that I don't know how I picked up on that, but that's why I thought that's literally what made me think about his suit, was this
Okay.
little tiny thing, which obviously more than likely means absolutely nothing, but it would make sense if there is some multiversal shit happening, given the age of a Tobey Maguire Peter Parker in, that world. Like, if we were in present day and the Tobey Maguire Peter Parker Spider-Man world, it would make sense for there to be a Miles Morales Spider-Man who has taken up the mantle of Spider-Man because Peter, at this point in time, would be in his 50s. So, there is
Yeah.
that. So that'd
Yep.
be, again, my guess that, like, maybe this is Miles Morales, and Miles Morales is the Spider-Man in Tobey Maguire's world, where Alfred Molina comes from, that kinda thing. Maybe. Who knows? But here are some of the other things that came from this, and there's some more kinda questionable things in here that, again, who the hell knows? Like, none of this stuff really means anything or could, it could have nothing to do with the movie really. But
Well,
again,
I
here's
saw I
the
saw
gauntlet on the upgraded suit and the gold thing. Like I said, this looks like the Iron Spider suit and the upgraded suit merged to one. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say I saw an article yesterday or today about this specific set and set how looks like Spider-Man's got a completely new villain that he's going to face off against, and they were talking about this mechanical spider that shows up here, and I was just like, I mean, there's people were like, that's a big stretch to feel like he's gonna fight a mechanical spider. He might, but it also could just be a fun toy. Like, is he also gonna fight two snakes? Because there's two snakes coming out of one of those chests. Does that mean he's gonna go up against two snakes
I
at
don't
some
even
point?
think
I
these
mean,
are snakes. They don't have eyes. I think they're just something. It's
they're
like a
not.
no. They look
Okay.
like tentacles or something.
On my
Because I
screen,
mean,
they kind of look like
this is
snakes,
in
but
the
like, is he
sanctum
gonna
of
ride a
a
bicycle at one point because there's a bicycle
right.
hanging on the wall? Like, I mean, just like dismantling
Well, he
all this
does
stuff down to
on
that.
this.
There he is. He's on a
He's riding the
bicycle.
bike.
Confirmed. Confirmed.
Uh-huh.
Spider-Man rides a bike in No Way Home.
See, I here's the thing. I thought this looks more like a scorpion to me.
A scorpion. Okay.
Yeah, because like, look, it's got the little, like, pincers here, and he's literally got, like,
Yeah.
pincer hands, and he's got these little thingies on his, whatever the head would be, but then there's also, if you look real fucking close, there's, like, a body on here, like, there's, like, abs, like, human abs here, and then there's, like, almost something that looks like an arc reactor right here, like, it's like maybe this is, like, like, Paul Giamatti's Rhino, how it's like a mech suit. Could this
Yeah.
be a mech suit scorpion or something? Like, who the hell knows? But I don't think this is a spy, I think this is a scorpion. Nevertheless, like, I don't know if it's gonna be in the movie by any means. Hell, here's the thing, Spider-Man may never even go to the Sanctum, and that's exactly what this is, you know what I mean? Because that's what toys do. Like, it's just like a cool thing, like, because I'd say it's a safe bet that Doctor Strange is gonna make an appearance. Maybe Spider-Man goes to the Sanctum to reach out to Doctor Strange, but he might never actually go in there. But I mean, who knows? I think
Yeah.
it's a probably safe bet that he probably will go in there. But this whole situation might not happen. Like, why would Mary Jane go with Spider I guess she knows he's Spider-Man now, but I don't know, it's weird. This is just such an odd layout of a scene that, like, it just does make it hard it's hard for me to believe that anything in here is actually gonna happen other than the suit, like, obviously, like, I think the suit is a safe bet, but I don't know. It's weird. It's interesting because, like, here's another better look at this, like
Because you're seeing it replicated across toys. You've seen
mhm,
it now in the Lego sets, and you're also seeing it in the 6-inch, or the Legends line too. So I
exactly.
think good bet to be, like, pretty confirmed. I'm
Mhm.
I'm 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 really surprised that Marvel is kind of, for lack of a better way of putting it, botching this release because usually they're on top of the game. Usually I'm not sure why they're holding the Spider-Man trailer back so long. Maybe it's because of something that happens in one of the shows that's in Loki or in um I wouldn't think Black Widow, but maybe Shang-Chi. I don't know. I mean, you've got Wong in this set. If Wong shows up in the Spider-Man movie, maybe there's some connection back to the Shang-Chi movie, and they're waiting. I don't know for sure, but they've got they've got Shang-Chi, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and Eternals before we get to Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
So they probably don't want to trailer overload everything. Like, we may
I
not get a Spider trailer until Shang-Chi. I don't know.
I think there's a solid chance that they drop the first Spider-Man trailer with Black Widow,
Widow, okay.
but then at the absolute latest, it would be by Shang-Chi, like,
Yeah.
with that movie. Or obviously the third option would be it dropping somewhere in between, like, just randomly, like, they just put it out. But I mean, I'd say at this point, it would be better for them to put out the trailer just to get ahead of some of this stuff, because at this point it's almost a safe bet that just more stuff is gonna get out, and, in my opinion at least, it's better to have, like just like Shazam did, Shazam 2. Like, you have these shitty set photos, and it's like, instead of letting this stuff just happen, just release a high-res picture and just move on, because then no one's gonna care about the set photos that keep coming out unless it's something actually new, you know? Because if
Yeah.
they were release like, even just a random teaser trailer, no one would talk about these Lego sets anymore, really. But here's one of the interesting ones, and we were having a sort of debate about some of these because there's another one that's kind of interesting here. But this one says, "Inspired by Marvel Studios' Spider-Man: Homecoming," and you see there's Vulture, and, there's this weird thing here, but Spider-Man's in this new suit that's here. So again, I find this like, well, not really again because I haven't said it on the show yet, but I find this to be highly peculiar. Of all things, if you're making something inspired by Spider-Man: Homecoming, why would they put the new suit in here? Why wouldn't it just be the regular suit? Like the one that he actually wore in Spider-Man: Homecoming. Not that Vulture's gonna be in the movie by any means. Like, I honestly don't think Vulture's gonna be in Spider-Man: No Way Home. Like, I don't. He's obviously in Mobius, or not Mobius, but Morbius, like, obviously. We've seen that, but I just find that to be kind of odd. But, yeah, so you have this set, and then there's just more pictures of it. The webbing being gold, I find that to be kind of odd too. Like, do you think that means anything?
No,
Like, of
I think
anything?
this. No, I'm not. You know, I again, I like this black suit one. I'm just curious if it's going to be just kind of a just another way to sell more toys. Not even necessarily relate to the movie so much. Like, what if that Legends figure that we saw a preview of also says on it like inspired by Homecoming? They just recolored it or something. I don't know.
I just don't know why that one would be inspired. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I understand, like, the idea of having Vulture and, like, it being a Vulture set, like, and putting it on there. I don't think it would have anything to do with the suit, though, because like, that's what I just the fact that they put this suit in this Spider-Man: Homecoming inspired set, I that's what's weird to me, of all things, and what the main reason I even think it's weird and it stands out to me is because they have also released here a inspired by Spider-Man: Far From Home set, but it's branded with No Way Home stuff, and he's wearing they put the correct Spider-Man suit figure in this one, like, he's wearing the regular black and red suit that he had in that movie. So it just makes that other Spider-Man Far From or the Homecoming inspired set where he's wearing one of these new suits, whether it's in the movie or not, it's a newly designed suit. So, like, why would you put the, canonical suit in this set, but not the other set? So that's why maybe there's a chance Vulture actually is in the movie, maybe, but it would definitely, in my opinion, rule out the Mysterios in the movie, like, because I don't think that's actually happening. But I don't know. This is weird to me, like, the fact because
Well, see,
you're
I would think for me, I would think there's a much better chance that Mysterio makes an appearance in the movie. I mean, the whole
that's
crux
true.
of the last movie, the thing that the storyline that has to be picked up in this movie is the fact that Peter Parker's identity has been revealed by Mysterio to the world. Whatever happens has to come out and be born out of that revelation at the end of Far From Home. So I would definitely think that Mysterio may in some way make a reappearance or at least be referenced and show up in flashback or something because
That's
that's going to be a
fair.
huge part.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, that just reminded me. They also released the J. Jonah Jameson with this line of, the 6-inch figures too.
Which
So,
actually looks pretty good for a
it
6-inch
it
figure.
does. It looks pretty
They
decent.
did a good job with that.
Yeah. So this at least does confirm, in some ways that he's gonna reprise his role. I think that's a safe bet that he'll be back.
Yeah,
J. Jonah will be back for No Way Home, and they're gonna just keep him bald, which I bet he's kinda happy with, so he doesn't have to go through the whole hassle of putting on the wig. Like,
sure.
because he
It was a
was
pretty
going.
it was pretty bad it was a pretty bad wig in the Tobey Maguire ones.
I
The
thought it
flat
worked
top that they
fine
gave him,
though.
it was fine. It
Yeah.
recreated that classic
Oh yeah,
'60s
dude, 100%.
Steve Ditko look, but yeah,
And it was right out of the
it
animated
it was
series.
dated. It was
Yeah.
dated, yes.
Yeah, he was literally ripped right out of that TV series. Like, that's exactly how he looked and acted and everything. So I thought that was great. But they were gonna do the wig, they just ended up shooting this, like, scene with him in No Way Home last minute that they didn't have time to get a wig made, so they just left him bald.
Mm,
So, that's why it's like, yeah, I guess now, like, he canonically has to be bald, but, I mean, they coulda had some fun with him getting the wig, and then Peter could make fun of him for having a wig, like, that would've been some good stuff, like, it could've been
yeah.
anyway. But, yeah, so what are your overall thoughts on these figures? Do you think it's anything that, is anything pique your interest with them? Or are you just like "Well, we'll just see what happens." You putting any stock in anything on here?
No.
What's it say to you?
No, I'm fully in the we'll see what happens. I mean, like, this is I think the suit looks pretty cool. I it I'm more of a traditionalist, so I like to see Peter in the blue and red.
Me
And
too.
they haven't had him in that costume much. I mean, he was in it in Civil War for a minute and part of Homecoming, but since then he hasn't been in his classic suit much. So they are finding reasons to put him in different suits. And I'm guessing part of that is I'm guessing Sony's driving some of this. Sony's the one licensing out these deals for the tie-ins to the movie. So they want their cut of the licensing. So they probably want different costumes and stuff too. Um, but
I don't know.
all that being said, the suits look fine. I've been much more intrigued in this movie by the casting that we've heard and the supposed casting that's going on. That's what has my interest in this peaked much more. None of this really made me get that much more excited for it. I'm already as about excited as I think I can get.
Mhm. I'm totally with you, honestly. The only thing that these things
Which
did for
which
me was
sounded
just confuse me.
yeah. Yeah, my enthusiasm may be a little muted. It's just a little late right now, but I
It's
swear
true.
I'm pretty darn excited for this movie.
Yeah, I'm stoked for it. I hope that the trailer does come with Black Widow just so
Yeah, that'd be great.
I just wanna see the trailer, like,
It's
uh,
beyond time that we got it, but
I mean, it's still 6 months out, so, I mean, it's still pretty early in all honesty if it were to come out,
yeah,
but
well, we
it's
had a we
still
had a
like,
bat we had a Batman trailer. I mean, by the time Batman comes out,
it's
we'll have had a
true.
Batman trailer 18 months to 2 years before the movie came out.
Yeah,
So
100%,
they
100%.
they I remember the first Spider-Man movie that came out, the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, Sam Raimi Spider-Man. I think the first trailer dropped sometime in December because I remember watching that trailer like on repeat at work in December before I left for Christmas break. And that movie came out, I believe, in June, maybe July of the following year. So yeah, it was 6 to 7 months out. I think it's
Mhm.
time.
Yeah, I mean, anymore, like, yeah, they've been like some movies and some studios will release trailers like a year in advance. I mean, in the
Yeah.
case of Batman, it was for a fan event and everything, but
Sure.
yeah, when that
Sure. Yeah, that
movie
was definitely a special circumstance.
yeah, but I mean, now that it's been delayed like a whole year, yeah, we're gonna have it's like 3 years 3 years later, the movie finally comes out, but
Yeah.
they don't have to worry about, like 'cause the risk you run with releasing a trailer a year in advance is that it's just not gonna do anything for you because everyone's gonna forget about the fucking trailer. It's not gonna build up any
Yeah.
hype or anything, like, it'll build up hype for that month, but then it's not like the movie's coming out, they're not gonna release another trailer to continue the hype, so everyone's gonna forget about it by the time a year comes around. So, like, anymore, a lot of times they've actually been backing off and it's been like, 3 or 4 months and then the trailer finally comes out and it's like, okay, then they can keep doing the clips for a couple months, build up the marketing campaign, and it actually means something. So, like, that's why, like, I could totally see, like, it not coming with Black Widow just because we're still 6 months out. but part of me thinks that it's like because of all these leaks, makes it a little bit more likely that they might just go ahead and do it, like just put it out with Black Widow, just to change the conversation from this shit, like if anything. But
Yeah.
we'll just have to wait and see. But the question is, guys, what do you think about these toy leaks, these Spider-Man toy leaks? Do you think these new suits mean anything? That you think they're going to show up in the film? I think the only thing it really did was like I do think the red and or the black and gold, not the all black one that looks like Miles Morales, but the one they're actually putting on the cover of these boxes here. This one that kind of looks like like I said, looks like Peter actually merged the Iron Spider suit with his, you know, current suit that he had in Far From Home. I think it definitively says that that is going to be his new suit, and that's going to be what he wears in the movie at some point. That would be my guess. And then obviously I think it confirms that we are gonna see Doctor Strange. I think that's a legit thing, but everything else could be random stuff for toys, like all of it. That Miles Morales looking suit, this scorpion robot thing, all of that could just be for toys. Because that's what they do sometimes. Like John said, you get the deep dive Batman figure, and he's never in the water, and it happens all the time. But like I said, whatever you guys think, let us know down in the comment section below.